All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday and welcome to Ladies Lunch and Learn. And today we have two guest hosts with us. We have Rhiannon Marshall, who is the Director of Advocacy at Community Voices for 340B. And we also have Peggy Tithe, who is Principal at Powers, Pyle, Sutter, and Verville law firm. And so I will have both ladies do introductions and then we'll jump into our session. And welcome everybody and thanks for joining us. So Rhiannon, do you want to start?
Yeah, go ahead. I will jump right in. Hi everybody, I'm Rhiannon Klein, or Rhiannon Marshall Klein. I never changed my name over professionally when I got married, so it's really either or. I am the National Director of Advocacy for Community Voices for 340B, and I am joined with the luminous Peggy Tye, who's going to give us a little bit of an update as well. Peggy, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Peggy Tye, and I'm delighted to be here today. Thank you for having us, and always delighted to co-present with Rhiannon Marshall Klein, or Klein Marshall, or whatever you want to call her. She is a fabulous human being, and don't ask my husband about not taking his last name, because I didn't. But anyway, let's go.
Oh, you're on mute, Felicity.
Oh my gracious, that was a sticking point with my husband and I, because I told him I was not taking his last name and he got very, very upset about it. And I decided it was more important to him than me. Mm-hmm. And so I miss my maiden name Savory every single day. But here we are.
I love this.
So
awesome. I love that this is a ladies group and we can talk about those kind of things. Anyway.
I know, right?
Yes, and all of my professional stuff now is with Homestead, so it's like there's no going back. But in my heart, I am a Savory, so all good. All right, so I'm going to bring up the slide deck and welcome everybody. So as you know, the usual, so introduce yourself, and I see you ladies are doing it already. Introduce yourself in the chat, your name, where you're from, and just get the conversation started. And then the poll question, I'm hitting the button, 1 second. The poll question this week, and we're still getting used to the new platform. The poll question for this week is asking hold on 1 sec. I'm not seeing the one I'm expecting to see. There we go. Okay, here it is. Yep, it just popped up. So are you going to be attending the conference in San Diego, yes or no? And the third option is no, but I will see you in DC this summer. So I know I'm going to be there. Rhiannon and Peggy, will we see you there as well?
I'll be there.
I'm out. I have a scheduled surgery that I'm having to have. Ooh. Yeah, oh well, but I'm excited to have it. So
it's a good thing.
Very good thing. I'll be able to sit for the first time in a year. So,
yay!
Oh, well, that will be fantastic. Well, we will miss you, and we'll bring back all of the good information. So it looks like so far almost a 50-50 split. More saying no than yes, and quite a few saying that they will see us in DC. So we look forward to seeing you all there. And if you see us, say hi. And then I know Lisa put it in the chat. I think we're planning on doing a meetup, and I have been in HRSA audit world. We had 4 HRSA audits this month, and so I'm a little disconnected from where the meetup is, but I know Lisa will put that in the chat. So just looking forward to connecting and seeing everybody there. And then the other poll that we've got for you is just a question about, if I can locate it, just getting to know who's in the room outside of the chat as well, is just saying what type of entity are you, or 340B friends and family?
Oh, I like that, 340B friends and family.
Yes, that's where we are here. So looks like we've got lots of FQHCs and hospitals, some other grantees, and some contract pharmacies. And if you don't see yourself on the list, I know we've got quite a few of the consultants and other supports in the room too. So TPAs as well. So please feel free to throw that in the chat too. All right, and from there, we're gonna let Rhiannon, our advocacy expert extraordinaire, take it away. So Peggy and I are gonna jump off the stage for a little bit, turn off our cameras, but we'll jump in and chime in as we go through the session. So thank you everybody again for joining today, and for those of you who are going to be in San Diego, we'll look forward to seeing you there. And Rhiannon, take it away.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. We're excited to see you. I'm excited that you're all on to talk about advocacy. Advocacy is a huge part of 340B life right now, and you all know that better than anybody. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Community Voices for 340B. We are a 501c3 grassroots organization that enables community members to tell their side of the story. So that's you. You are the person that knows what impact is 340B is having in your community. We talk about a lot of things. What's vital to you? What tools does 340B allow you to leverage for your community members? And of course, the most important, ensuring health access care or healthcare access to the neediest in your communities. So who we are, we already talked a little bit about who we are. I have been with CB340B for about 6 or 7 years now, basically since it began, and have loved working for with Peggy for the better part of about a decade. So I am going to let Peggy do her update. And first, we're going to do the update, then we'll do some education, addressing misinformation, then we'll talk about advocacy on the broad strokes. But let's hear from Peggy and see what's going on. I know you're all very connected to it right now, but hopefully you'll get a little bit more information.
Well, hello, everyone. Most of you know there's nothing at all going on in the 340B world right now. Actually, most of you know that there was a pretty big announcement in the last couple of weeks with NAC and Pharma and the National Hispanic Medical Association that they have formed a group, and that group is known as ASAP 340B. It's, to my understanding, a 501c4 organization that's intended to propel legislation in Congress, mainly to fix the contract pharmacy problem that I know many of you covered entities are facing right now. The proposal is not without some controversy. There are a number of groups who have come out in strong opposition to it, including the hospital associations, with the Pharmacists Association, most recently in the last actually 2 days. Prior to that, the AIDS and Healthcare Foundation has weighed in with very strong opposition. Representative Matsui, who is a longtime champion for 340B, also weighed in saying that this proposal is not the right direction. With that said, there are groups that are supporting this, and there are folks who are applauding NAC for getting a valuable conversation started on Capitol Hill. What I can tell you is that the proposal as written is not going to move through Congress. So, and that's because I'm a lobbyist and I'm talking to a lot of Hill staffers who are saying, it's good to have this as a start to a conversation, but this isn't where we're going to end up. And I'm talking to Republicans, I'm talking to Democrats, I'm talking to House, I'm talking to Senate people. So thinking of this proposal that's out there as a starting point for real conversations about policy issues, you can hate this proposal all day long, but what it's done for us is taking us to a place where the Hill is now listening again. They are not just saying, okay, there's nothing that can be done on 340B, let's just wait for the courts. I will also caveat all of that by saying that there are some players in the covered entity universe who want nothing to happen in Congress at all. They want Congress to leave 340B alone completely and let it run as it's been running. I don't know that we're going to have the luxury of that happening with this proposal on the table. So with all of that said, conferences coming up, as you know, next week. And I think there's going to be some feisty, fiery discussion at conference. And due to my hip replacement that I'm very excited to have happen, I'm going to miss it. In fact, the Energy and Commerce Committee is having a hearing not on 340B, but on transparency in healthcare. And we're hearing that on Tuesday, literally when I'm under the knife, they are going to, somebody or a couple somebodies are going to talk about 340B in that Energy and Commerce House Committee hearing. And so there may be some fireworks there. Text me if something's exciting. If I text back, it'll be drug induced, and I apologize in advance for anything I may say in text.
I think that's a good point for us to just have a pause, because there is so much that's going on in the 340B space. And what we really are encouraging, both from the 340B Community Voices and from the 340B Ladies Lunch and Learn platform and the 340B Moms group, is that just we are the 340B friends and family, right? We are united in this. We are all covered entities in this together. And, you know, it's really, we all come from this from different places, but at the end of the day, we're all here caring for patients. And so, you know, if what's important for us is focusing on the message of how we serve the patients and why the program is important to us. And there's going to be a lot of things that play out in a lot of different ways, but really important that we're partners in our communities, right? We're partners in the care that we deliver on the individual level to our patients. So I sit in the health center space most often, right? But if our patients have a broken leg or a heart attack, right, they have to go to the hospital down the street. And so we are in an ecosystem of caring for our communities. And so just don't lose sight of that, right? This will play out in the federal government. This will play out in the courts. We all want to learn how to advocate better. But take messages of positivity and take messages of the program impact, and let's stay away from being divided. And yes, there is a 340B Moms group. It's on Facebook. It's a super fun place to be, and we will share information in the chat on that. So that'll come. But I'll just pass it back to Rhiannon. But we just wanted to make sure that that message was shared here, because if we become divided, it's very easy for us to lose sight of how important the program is, and for us to create divisions in our care communities, which we do not want to have happen.
Right. So that's a perfect segue to what CV 340B is. So we are a safe place. We are a home. We are a place for people who are standing to defend the 340B program without all those other machinations, right? Whose proposals out there, who likes it and who doesn't like it. This is a place for your voice to be amplified. And I should shut up now and let you know how we're amplifying voices, and let Rhiannon talk about the really cool ways in digital media and digital advertising that we're doing exactly that with community voices, elevating the 340B program. So thanks again.
Thanks, Peggy. Yes, and I think that's a great point, you know, from both Felicity and Peggy. Advocacy is nothing if we are, you know, if we are not advocating for our communities and our patients. And so with that center and that grounding, now we can kind of go into more of how do we do this? And where do we do this, and who and what, and it gets very overwhelming, right? And that's kind of why we're here. So the first thing that we're going to do here is I would love to know how comfortable you are with advocacy. So there's a poll in there in the chat. Are you super comfortable? Do you feel okay? Are you not comfortable at all? Please don't make me. I don't want to. I kind of want to throw up.
And like, I just want to say, Rhiannon, I'm so impressed with how much more comfortable you are with this platform than I am. A+ on getting that poll launched and having it be so effortless. A+.
Oh, you know what? It's like the age of post-pandemic now, where you just have to like adapt on the fly. So it looks like people are mostly in the I feel okay camp. or not comfortable at all. Some of you are really comfortable, and that's fantastic. And I'm hoping that these skills that I'm about to show you are going to just add on to that. For the people that say, please don't make me, I think I might throw up, it's okay. If you have like a bag next to you, just breathe, take deep breaths. We're going to get through this. At the end, I want to know in the chat at the end if you're feeling better. So if you're one of those 4 people that said, please don't make me, please let me know in the chat if you're feeling better by the end. So the advocacy goals that CV 340B sees as really the 3 top things that we need to do is, number 1, educate the public and policymakers on the 340B program. Number 2, counter drug companies' misinformation on the program. I think that that's a big one because there is so much misinformation, even on Capitol Hill when we're talking to our legislators, that they don't quite understand what the program is and how it works. And then number 3 is build a community of advocates to defend 340B, and that's you guys. And so these are our top ones, and we're going to go through each of these. The first one is educating. So educating, when we first started out, we realized, we can't just dive right into the community and start talking to the community about 340B without first educating the staffs of the covered entities themselves. So your staff, the people that you're working with every day, do they know about 340B? Do they kind of know, but couldn't really explain it to a patient or a client or the community? What we developed is a community or covered entity education sessions. And we've done this with a bunch of different covered entities. Here are 4 groups that we've done it with that really had wonderful positive responses: Access Health, Prism Health North Texas, Action Wellness, and then a PCA Northwest Regional Primary Care Association. So if you're in the Northwest, you may have already seen a lot of this. If you're interested in this, let us know. We're happy to come in and talk to your staff about the 340B program. If you'd rather do it yourself, we also have a lot of, resources, slide decks, things like that you can actually do yourself. But what I wanted to get across here is, before you can go out in the community and educate your community, you first have to make sure that your staff, the people in your healthcare center, your C-suite, your board, know what 340B is, can explain it well, and feel comfortable having conversations about it. So when we're having conversations about the 340B program, it's often that as covered entities, as people who are in this world every single day, we use a lot of words that are daunting to other people. And so I talk a lot about accessible education, and the word accessible is important here. When we're talking about 340B, it's important that we kind of change some of the words that we're talking to make it more of an accessible concept for other people to understand. So words like nonprofit. We're a nonprofit. We don't profit from the program. Accessible healthcare. 340B allows health providers, nonprofit health providers, to provide care to their patients regardless of their ability to pay, which results in accessible healthcare for the community. And then the last one here is community member. We're always talking about community member, the community businesses. 340B allows the community to thrive by creating healthier community members and giving them access to affordable healthcare. So the words here really do matter, because we can say things like covered entities get the 340B discount, they pass it on to the patients through programmatic healthcare tracks, blah, blah, blah. And we can go on and on and on and talk about, FQHCs and things like that. Nobody knows what that is, right? So your community member that's coming in to your healthcare center, they don't know that you're an FQHC or a Ryan White. They don't know that you're a Dish Hospital or any other designation. And honestly, doesn't really matter. It matters to us, right? Because that's how we identify ourselves, but it doesn't matter to the community member. They're like, this is where I get my healthcare, and this is how I access it in an affordable way. So that kind of goes back to the idea of, whether a patient is walking into a healthcare center, an FQHC, or they're walking into the emergency room, they're still accessing 340B, and it's one 340B program. So education resources, there's a whole world of resources out there that you can access, whether that's through HC Advocacy or 340B Health or any of those other organizations. And you can come up with your own. If you feel confident about it, you're like one of those people that I am super comfortable with advocacy, you can come up with your own. If you're not comfortable at all, if you're one of those 17 people or one of those 4 people that says, don't make me, there are education resources out there that you can just copy paste. These education resources include things on the CB340B website that's under the registration or the resources tab. And I'm going to actually share a few of these in the chat here. There's infographics about diabetes. There's infographics about HIV. And then there's also we have a series of handouts that were created so that you could just kind of pin them on a board in the what do you call it, in the break room, or you could pin them on patient rooms, or you could pin them in the lobby or things like that. And that's this last one, 340B helps. 340B helps you, at 340 helps the community, and that's those things. So if you are looking for resources that you can just stamp your logo on and go, definitely check out our resource page. Take these ones. We have no privilege of ownership here. If you want to put your logo on this,
it's such a different
do.
world, right?
Felicity?
When I first started in 340B, it was sort of this behind the scene program, right? And patients weren't necessarily aware of it, and especially when I was in the hospital, right? It was just kind of this discount program that happened behind the scenes. When I moved over to the health center world, we have patients who were on our side, and then they might be aware of it they were able to access medications at the lower price, but we didn't necessarily even call it 340B to them, right? We called it our patient access program, or our affordable care program was the term we used. But we are now getting into this space where it's important not just for the members of the care team in the hospital or the health center to understand 340B, but also the community, because it's hitting the media, it's hitting the newspapers. And so all of a sudden, what was a behind the scenes program is now very much in the public eye. And so it's really important for patients to understand the 340B program, because if it ever comes to them, then we want them to be aware.
Mm-hmm. And patients are going to see, whether they know it or not, they're going to see the effects of a shrinking 340B program. And that's going to be very confusing for them. A lot of times when I'm in the community, I see people and I talk to people and they're like, oh, the hospital sent me another, fill in the blank bill. And I'll go through it with them. Well, the hospitals are subject to drug prices that are subject to, all of these different influences, and there all of these different things, insurance companies, blah, blah, blah. But they're not seeing the drug company pricing. They're not seeing the insurance. They're not seeing any of that. What they're seeing is the bill. And on the top of the bill is that hospital's name, right? And so what's going to happen as if the 340B shrinks, the program shrinks, the upsetness, which is not the right word, but the frustration of the consumer, of the patient, is going to grow not towards 340B, not towards anything else. It's going to grow towards the healthcare provider. So it is important
great
now
point.
that we are talking to the patients about this. So addressing misinformation. There is, and I know you've all have seen it, there is a coordinated campaign by drug companies to attack the 340B program. And some of this misinformation kind of is very, it's very relatable. And so it's easy to grab onto, especially by legislators or community members, or maybe even some of your staff. And so addressing that misinformation again, in a positive way, in a way that says, actually, that's not how it works. This is how it works. And let me tell you a story about it is really important here. One of the ways that CB340B has done this is we started on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, go check us out. We have a few TikTok videos that talk about drug companies and attacking the covered entity staff or the covered entities for profiting, right? Profiting. So that's why the always using the words nonprofit healthcare provider is important, because you're all nonprofits, right? Nobody's profiting here. Within the tax code, we're not allowed to profit here. And so addressing this misinformation in a way that is accessible, using accessible information and accessible education is the best way to go about it here. And I'm happy to chat with anybody about that more if you have some specific questions.
And then, Rhiannon, one of the things that was brought up in the chat by Jennifer is just talking about provider education. And I know it's something that's on my to-do list is, how do we educate the clinician staff on the 340B program? And just wondering, do you have, she was asking about potentially a slide deck. Do you have resources on that are developed for educating providers?
We do, yeah. So we have slide decks that you can use. You can take it and you can use it. We also have covered entity educations where Peggy and I can come in and we can do whatever, length of a presentation you want. So what we've done is we've done lunch and learns like this, or we've done, come into an all staff meeting and talked for 20 minutes, whatever you'd like. We're happy to come in. That's, a free service that we do. And we're able to educate and take questions and answers. And in the case of organizations like PRISM, we've actually come in 4 or 5 different times where we've done a series of 340B presentations that kind of get deeper and deeper into what 340B is. And that was actually in partnership with January Fox. If you know January, she's amazing. And she took it over as well, where she was like, okay, I need you to come in and talk about this. So we came in, we talked about that, and then she took the rest of the presentation. Like, she knows, you guys know, right? You know what 340B is. We don't have to talk. But if there are holes you want us to come in and talk, we're happy to do that as well. But we do have slides, we have resources and everything like that. So Impossible Without 340B, this is something that I think is very accessible to what you all are doing right now. This was, no, it's not going to show it. This is our digital engagement ad that talks about how ending the epidemic, the HIV epidemic, is impossible without 340B. AIDS Care Group of Philadelphia came to us and very generously gave a small donation to our Together for 340B campaign. And we were like, let's do an ad together. Let's do a digital engagement ad. And so we came up with this, or they really came up with this. The founder of AIDS Care Group said, you know what? Without 340B, ending the HIV epidemic would be impossible. And Peggy and I, our faces just lit up and we were like, oh, that's it. We're going to do that. So we put this together. There's a landing page. There's an infographic. And this is something that you can take with you, this kind of language, right? What in your programs is impossible without 340B? You know that, right? We have done accessible diabetes care is impossible without 340B, right? Behavioral health access, impossible without 340B. Substance use disorder treatment, impossible without 340B, impossible, right? Opioid use disorder, impossible without 340B. So this is just kind of, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this language and how you can use that in your
we had a question in the chat that I was going to pass on to you, but Peggy's
work.
asked it. It was somebody was asking about the sessions that you were doing for the providers and whether there was a charge. Yeah, Peggy's doing this
free.
as well. And then you just hit on my personal passion, which is the treatment of opioid use disorder and managing substance abuse issues. So I'm actually on the road, which is why you don't see my typical bookcase behind me, because in my, oh, can you hear me? You all can hear me, yes? Okay, great. I saw in the chat somebody couldn't hear me.
Okay.
In my spare time, I'm actually a clinical researcher with NIDA, and we are looking at the integration of pharmacists into the treatment of opioid use disorder. And all of the research is based on the work that we did at my health center, which was funded by 340B. And yeah, and so
That's
3
amazing.
of the sites that are in the research study are actually 340B sites, and the reason they can afford to have pharmacists is because of the 340B program. So yeah.
Wow, I am impressed. That's amazing. And that's research that we need. Like, we need now. We need to talk about, and we need to be sharing with everybody.
Yeah.
Looks like, can you all hear me?
I'm not sure what if you
can hear me, let me know. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, everybody. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah. Felicity's in a hotel, so she's working with hotel Wi-Fi, which can be crazy. I know. So, all right. Well, that's awesome.
Hit refresh, Felicity. Lisa says. Anyway.
Oh, hit refresh. Okay. So moving on. Yeah, I know. Always a fun day in web presenting. This doesn't happen in person, but that's fine. Moving on to building your community. I want to really talk to you about changing the way that we think about community. A lot of people think, okay, I gotta build my advocacy community. I gotta go out on the streets and I'm gonna accost a random person and I'm gonna grab them by the shoulders and I'm gonna tell them about 340B, right? No, we're not gonna do that. But what we can do is, yeah, she said very exciting things. What we can do is think about our community in a way of educating our staff. That's your community. Educating your family. My mother-in-law, I swear to God, you guys, every time I talk about my work, she says, so what is it that you do again? I love her. I do. But just continuing to talk about what we do with our friends and our family, and not being scared of saying the words 340B, not being scared of saying I work for an organization that takes 340B, takes 340B discounts and uses them for the community. And let's just think about community in that way, and think about community in the way of like your social media followers, the people that you're already maybe following on social media and the people that are already following you, like your friend from high school that you haven't seen in years, right? Let's talk about 340B with them. Let's put it on our Facebook. So again, here's some social media stuff that is going on, and you can share these on your professional pages, on your personal pages, whatever you like. Encourage people that maybe aren't in your little 340B circle to participate in action days like the I Heart 340B month. Maybe talk about 340B at the barbecue that you go to next week. Things like that, where, I don't know, it's not really barbecue weather here, but.
Not yet. And apologies for community typo. Sorry. There's a lot of M's and anyway.
Oh my God, there are so many
anyway,
M's.
sorry for that.
Okay, well, that's fine. We're all human here. Okay, so one of the ways that you can expand your 340B community outside of just your staff is you can join one of our regional advocacy groups. Now, these happen once a month. There are 5 regions: Western, Midwest, South, Southeastern, Texas, and the Southwest, and the Northeast. Lacey, I don't want to hear about barbecue weather in Florida. But we have these wonderful groups. We have a bunch of people to get together every month, and it's really just kind of like friends getting together too. You get an update from, again, the preeminent law firm in 340B, which is Powers. Peggy is always on. Mark, if you've ever met Mark, he's a wonderful resource when it comes to things like litigation. And so you get really an up to the minute, literal minutes update on 340B.
Just so you're not talking to 2 lawyers, know that Mark is also a pharmacist. So you pharmacist people out there, he speaks your language and legal.
I just got my phone out because I'm not on this, but I'm signing up. I know.
I know. So use your QR code on your phone and do it. If you want to sign up for one, great. If you want to sign up for them all, we're happy to have you. Just let us know that like you didn't accidentally sign up for all of them. So yes, we would love to have you. These are so much fun. I don't know, Peggy. It's like the highlight.
Oh,
of
that's
my
funny.
week,
We
right?
got somebody saying that. So we start with kind of the shtick of the latest news, and there's always latest news in 340B, right? So we talk about kind of what we know and put it out there, and then have other folks say, did you hear about this? Did you know about this? And what's going on here? So it's wonderfully interactive. And then we always try to turn the conversation back to LinkedIn. Did you like our latest message? Are you sending something out? Are you coming to our webinar that we're throwing? It's all about getting to the action and getting people propelled and excited to help 340B. It's not this group or that group. It's to help 340B, the program. And that's what we find so fun about these calls, is getting great intelligence and great ideas about how to do better. Much of our work has been driven by these regional groups where they say, why don't you do this messaging? Why don't you say more of this? Why don't you say more of that? So it's like being in a focus group to help us manage this campaign in the way we're listening to you to do that. So we really do hope you join these groups. They're terrific.
You definitely got
They're
2 people.
so
You've
much
got
fun.
myself and Tiffany. We both just
so-
signed up.
But I've also started calling these meetings your maintenance drug between conferences, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I want your update on 340B on a regular basis. This is where you can do it.
Yes. Yeah. And it's fun. It's always fun.
Alaska and Hawaii.
So Alaska
come on
and Hawaii. So yeah, Alaska and Hawaii, we will just add you to the Western if you're okay with that. I know I grew up in Alaska. You're not a part of the Western region. I get it, but yes. So one day we'll do a PNW. And
Only if you invite us to go there. Yeah.
I know, really. I grew up in Anchorage and then Wasilla in the Valley.
With you know who.
So
Anyway.
wait, yeah. We're not talking about that. Okay, so join the campaign. You're like on fire about advocacy. You are ready to do this. CV340B is doing something called the Together for 340B campaign. And sorry, I always have to like turn the chat like away because my ADHD can't handle it. So
I'll watch it for you.
we are doing. Thank you. We are doing this campaign. It is a digital engagement campaign. So that's a little bit different than what you might have experienced in the past. This campaign leverages digital advertising, which would be like sponsored content on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google display ads, YouTube, things like that. And now we're doing TikTok as well. And so as a campaign sponsor, we will work with you to develop an ad, kind of like that impossible ad that says, 340B is everything to us. And without 340B, we won't be able to do X, Y, and Z. So we're working with Sue Veer right now. Like I said, we worked with ACG in Philadelphia. I know all of you probably know who Sue is at Carolina Health Centers. She also became a campaign sponsor through Carolina Health Centers. And so we're doing an ad with her talking about behavioral health for children and how accessible behavioral health is impossible without 340B. And so we're excited about that. That includes a landing page, infographics, and a digital ad. The exciting thing about this is when we did the ACG ad, we spent $600, you guys, literally. And we got 72,000 views. I mean, we're not talking like New York Times, 25,000 like
We're like
dollars for a spread,
yeah, right.
or $125,000 now. Like, we're not talking that. It was like $600 and we got all of these views and I was like, holy crap. So if you're interested in doing this, these are effective and they're a great way to get advocacy out there. There is a sign up right here, so feel free to kind of hover your phone over it and take a look. Peggy and I are also available to chat with you.
Sue Barnhart says she's
so
bringing some patient stories and she's coming by your booth next week. So if you don't know Sue Barnhart, she's one of my 340 besties, and she's great at telling stories. So she's coming to see you.
Yes, I am. That's such a good, Sue. That is such a good segue into our next slide. It's like you were reading our minds. Hashtag 340B Power Stories. How does 340B power your organization? I know, Rhiannon, we're besties. Sue and I are she's my favorite. So these stories are written stories about 600 words or less. And if you go through this QR code and you go on to the page, you can actually type your story out into this form. What happens is it gets sent to me. I will edit it through. And then I'll send it back to you and we can kind of go back and forth until you're ready and you're excited about it. And then we'll post it on our new 340B Power Story page, which is going live next week. So we're very excited about that. Yay! If you are like, I don't want to write anything, I don't have time for that, let's record a story. You can record a story with your phone. If you're comfortable with your phone, just go ahead and say, just say 340B is everything to our community and here's why. This doesn't have to be an oration. It could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you want. If you're not comfortable with your phone, let me know through this QR code here, and we'll set up like a Zoom or something like that. And the Zooms, we get on about 15 minutes is the full time. I ask questions, we take it back, we edit it, and then we put it out. Nothing is ever put out without your permission. And we consider these videos your property. So if you ever feel like, I'm not comfortable with this anymore, feel free to take it down. One thing that I want to say before we go any further, the dynamic between you wanting to do this, but also having to get a approval from your C-suite and your lawyers, we get it. So if you go onto this page, there's an FAQ. You can go through it and you get all the questions that we know that your lawyers are going to ask because, we work with lawyers. and so hopefully that will kind of appease them a little bit. I get it. It can be a really
and also
hard
what
thing.
Rhiannon, if I could say, what Rhiannon will do is film you, then show it to you, and you say, I hate this, then we're not putting it anywhere. Or if 3 weeks from now somebody says, ew, that's not good, or your hair changes, we don't care. We'll take it off. It is your face. It is your recording. Do with it what you will. Just let us know.
Nobody likes the sound of their own voice. Okay, people, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. So let that part go.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's like, it's hard, right? And I didn't realize how hard it was because I'm always in front of a video doing this type of stuff. but I get it. It's hard. Just don't look at yourself. Just close your eyes or something. I don't know, but it is hard. But, you know, let's say you're excited about doing a story, you're excited about doing a video, but you want to do more. Dun, da, da, da. Yay! Our official merch has launched. Go shopping. If you want to do advocacy and the what you want to do is buy a cool Defend 340B shirt, do that. The whole proceeds are donated to the Together for 340B campaign. We will take that and we will use it to produce digital advertising, to produce more print advertising and things that are going to benefit you in the long run. So please do this. And then also hoodie and kids shirts already shipped. Oh, I'm so excited, Amber. Yay. Okay, so if you have them before you leave
San Diego
for conference, bring them with us, because they wouldn't let me ship them and they weren't going to be in here in time. And I was like, but I want people to see them. So yeah, bring them. And they are nice t-shirts. They are very nice. Peggy and I sleep in ours because they're so soft.
They are really soft.
So yeah, so this is a real, you know, a low bandwidth way to really help the campaign in a real way. Let's see, do I have one more slide? I do. Okay, exciting. We've talked about advocacy for 45 minutes. I really feel like, you know, you're experts now. So if you have social media, which I'm pretty sure you all do, what I'd like you to do now is move into action and post on social media. What impact has the 340B program had in strengthening your community? So a great way to start this is 340B has allowed my organization to do X in the community because Y, and then use the hashtag 340B ladies, and we'll track all of them. And so what we'll do is we will, as CV340B, we'll repost everything that we see coming through. So, and then what I'll do for you, Felicity, is I'll make sure to like get the analytics, and I'll send it to you so you can share it with everybody. So that way, you know, right? Like, you know what impact you've had. So go to your social media now. 340B has allowed my organization to do X in the community because Y. And that is the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm ready for you, Felicity, if you want to
as far as this
goes,
right, we can do questions from the chat. But we can also, if people want to join us, we can promote people from the chat to come up on stage. If people want to share about their own personal experiences of doing advocacy, just really make this into a conversation, and then you know, just really keep the conversation going. We've got about 13 minutes left. I know some people have had to drop off a little early today, but just really, you know, thinking about who in this conversation. I saw a lot of great discussion about people just feeling really energized or really motivated. And I know that when I first got into 340B, I was very nervous about talking about it. And what I was at NACS P&I about a week ago, and it was just so natural at that point, right? Where it's just like you almost just forget, and it's just the natural discussion that you have is just speaking and advocating for 340B. But just would love to hear from people. Sue, I don't know if you want to. I can promote you up to join us. I'll take the slide deck down, maybe. Let's see. Or Rhiannon, you may have the control of that too. You might be who. Let me see.
Let's take a look.
There, I got it. I figured it out. Yay!
Okay.
All good.
Yep, that was me.
And
Sorry.
Peggy's just added. So, Sue, do you want to join us up here and just maybe share some of the stories that you're thinking about bringing, just to inspire others? So let me find her. Sue.
I would love that.
While you're finding her, the other thing I'd tell you is I always had this dream that I was going to be Darren from Bewitched. I was going to be an advertising executive, right? And then I started watching Mad Men. I'm like, Mad Men, oh, that's really cool. That's what I should have done for a living, right? Instead of this lobbyist gig. You can do that with CV. What's really, really cool is that you're sitting here talking about how do I capture the attention of people who know nothing about 340B, including how to spell it. How do you teach people how to do that? We want your voices in to tell us what a good ad would look like, right? And again, the price, the dollar amount is peanuts to do this. And what we're getting on the return on investment is incredible. Policymakers, again, for good or for bad, are now taking a laser-like look at 340B. If we're not talking about it, we're all in trouble. So we really need you.
Yeah. And I just want to say, this is, like I said before, advocacy is, is an everybody thing. This isn't, healthcare centers or hospitals. This isn't any of that. I mean, this is an everybody thing, and CV 340B is an everything thing. And Sue can tell you, when we're on our regional groups, it's everybody. We're all talking together. We're all just in this together as CB 340B and as an advocacy group. And I love that. I think that's beautiful, especially in today's environment.
Cool. Go, Sue. Tell us
pressure.
Stories.
Oh, Susan. No.
Oh, there you
she
are.
Says no permissions
there you
granted.
are.
Oh, there she is.
You guys really are my.
I thought your patients didn't give you permission.
I'm going to miss you, Peggy, next week, but I can't wait to see the other two of you. So I am finishing up my advocacy leadership program with NAC. Doing my final presentation next week when I get back from San Diego, and I'm sharing some of these patient stories as part of it. And when you were asked about putting me on, I was in LinkedIn starting 340B has allowed our health center too.
Woo.
I'll finish that later.
You said,
so what is it you want me to
talk about? You said you were going to bring us some patient stories. So what are those patients? Can you give us a flavor?
Well, our 340B program supports so much here, of course. Part of what we support heavily is our care management program, specifically our chronic care management program. We have patients who need so much help. They go to all these different pharmacies. They're taking double medications for some things. They're overdosing. They're not doing this correctly. And my one story is on one of our care management patients. They were referred to our chronic care management program because they were having complications with their insulin. They were finishing before their refill was due, and they didn't know why. They had extra of one, not enough of another. Well, one of our care managers was in contact with them to review the medications and routines, and they discovered that this patient said they were keeping all 3 of their insulin vials in the fridge altogether. When it was night and it was dark, they were grabbing one of them, and they were grabbing the wrong one. So they were overdosing on one, underdosing on another. So with the education that we were able to provide them, the care manager provided them, not only in keeping them in separate areas, locations in the fridge, but also to understand that when you inject one insulin, you might feel a little bit of a stinging with one. There might be a different reaction with another one. And if you don't notice that, then you may be using the wrong one. So with that education, they were able to get that patient on track. Sometimes they'll realize they're like, you got to stop getting your prescriptions all over 4 different pharmacies because you've got different doctors prescribing, you've got different pharmacies, and they help them get them on track, whether it's, using our pharmacy with our MedSync or our pill packing, which we offer for free, where other pharmacies are like $10 to $15 to provide that bubble packing. 340B pays for all the supplies for our pharmacy, and we offer that to our patients at no charge to help get them on compliance. So that is one of the stories I wanted to share about the chronic care that actually recently happened here that we were able to help out with their insulin. And that is heavily supported with 340B.
Thanks, Sue. Bye, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. One last thing before we wrap up today. I mean, thank you, Peggy, who had to drop off. Thank you, Rhiannon. It's just been an amazing session. I'm definitely going to want to have you guys come back periodically just to pop in and keep the energy high with Advocacy, but would love to hear from everybody in the chat too. Just, you know, what other things would you like to talk about in future sessions? So just really important for us to keep thinking and planning for that. One thing that has been highlighted for me in my month of HRSA audits is the importance of focusing on clinic-administered drugs, especially in the health center world. Clean sites for hospitals, clinic-administered for health centers. So that's probably something that we'll be talking a little bit about. But if you guys have any other items that you would like to talk about, please let us know. You can always shoot me an email too, and then you know how to get a hold of Rhiannon and Peggy. And if you see any of these faces, including Sue, because Sue's super friendly and always looking to make new friends, we look forward to connecting with you all in San Diego. Any last words, Rhiannon?
No, if I see you in San Diego, I'm gonna get a story from you. So I'm so excited. Just let me know that you were a part of this.
Great. And we look forward to seeing your
and we'll get you some good
#340B
swag
ladies.
too.
All right. Have a great day.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.